Okay, so now moving on to question number 3. Main difference between question number 3, or one of the main differences, is that we'll be simulating wire strengths. In question number 2, we simulated cable strengths. So now we're going to simulate wires. Each wire, or each cable, is made up of 4 wires. So, and the second difference is that we'll be simulating the wire strengths from the log normal, whereas before we were simulating it from the normal. Simulating the cables from the normal. So, instead of having cable ID and then simulating all the data for each of the cables, I'm going to start with simulating the wires. So actually, I'm going to go over here to the provided data. I'm going to copy this long format of the data where I have each of the 20 different cable IDs, and then this is wire 1, and if you go down, there's wire 2, etc. I'm going to copy this, so I click on it, and then I'm going to do the shift control down to highlight all of it. Go over to here and to the blank spreadsheet. I'm going to call this, put that there. So did control V to put it there. Paste. So I should rename this tab to be in question number 3, since now I'm doing question number 3. Alright, so now I'm ready to start simulating wires. So in question number 2, I had cable strength sim 1. I copy that. So now instead of it being cable strength, I'm going to erase that and call this wire strength sim 1. Okay. On the bottom of the project in Word, the Word project I assigned, here we go. I told you how to simulate the log normal data. So we can copy that, take that over to Excel, do an equal sign, and then simulate from that distribution with that equation. Alright, so I'm going to change mine so that mine doesn't look exactly like what yours will be. I'm going to simulate from the log normal with mu equal to 1 and standard deviation equal, with mean equal to 0 and standard deviation equal to 1. Okay? So now I'm going to simulate all of the wires and all of the cables exactly the same. So I can just drag this down. Okay. So once I have that, I'm going to need to calculate what the cable strength is based off of all these different wires. So underneath this, I'm going to call this cable. Actually, if I go over and I just copy this, cable strength sim 1. Okay. And then also I can copy cable ID 1 through 20, because I'm going to have 20. For each simulation, there's still going to be 20 cables that are coming out of the simulation. Okay, and so now I need to calculate what is, for example, for cable where the cable ID is 1, what is the corresponding cable strength? So remember, cable strength is 4 times the min of the 4 different wires. So it's the min of, here's the first wire with cable ID equal to 1. So then you write comma. And we look for the same cable, different wire. So this is wire 2. And then we type comma up here at top. And then third wire, cable 1, comma. And we go down to the fourth wire, cable 1. Then we close those parentheses. So we look in our equation, we have 4 different wires, and we're taking the min of it, and we're timing it by 4. So that's what the cable strength will be. So I can drag that down for all 20 cables, and you'll see, so like for example, this is cable ID equal to 10, and if I were to go up and check, this is 10, cable ID is 10, wire is 1, cable ID is 10, wire is 2, cable ID is 10, wire is 3, cable ID is 10, wire is 4. So what happens is, when you drag it down, each of those, so here it was C2, now it's C3, so each of those selected boxes also get dragged down 1. So having it in this long format and having it go 1 to 20 and then 1 to 20 and 1 to 20 for all the cable IDs, this is the format that you'll want it to be in order for this to work. Alright, so now I've simulated the wire strength, so I should highlight all this. I've done it once, so if I've done it once, then I can do it 200 times just by dragging this lower corner. So I drag that over 200 times. Okay. Perfect. So now I can drag over these cable strengths, highlight those, and then drag that over 200 times. So now I have 200 samples of the cable strengths, each with a sample size of 20. Now this is exactly the same as in question 2. I can actually just probably highlight all this and paste it here. So when you highlight it, what I did to highlight, I just pressed on the cells and I pressed Shift Control down and then Shift Control over. That highlights all of it. So I press Control C and I can press Control V. Oh, we cannot do that. So we could highlight instead just the first one, maybe, and then we could drag it to share. Okay, and so when it says value like that, that means that there was some sort of error that was happening. So it's taking B22, which is a value that's way up here. So really we want it to be taking this C104 value instead. So change that to 104. Okay, so then C104. Okay, so just correct the equation for the test statistic. And now we can drag it all the way over, do it 200 times, and then we find the average number of times that we eject, and that will give us the power. Same as question number 2 at this point.